Hey, everybody. Sorry, I was watching the Cardinals game. It's 4-2 Cardinals. I don't remember what inning it was, but anyway, two-run home run by Gorman. Anyway, I want to call bullshit on Agelina County. Now, first and foremost, it's Red Friday. That means remember everybody deployed. For all families and for all individuals who have someone they know or family members or someone they care about downrange, my hat's off to you. Stay strong for them to help them through getting through these difficult deployments, and be advised. And I've said this many times. These individuals, when they talk to you on the phone, they will not be able to disclose certain information. And basically, it's hi, how are you? How's mom? How's dad? Blah, blah, blah. But as far as correlation with where they're at, where they're going, what their orders are, they won't be able to answer that. They will, of course, be able to call you in instances, but the time of the call will be greatly reduced. And have to understand when they say I got to go, it's not because they want to go. Sometimes I got to go. I got 15 guys behind me that need to make a phone call home. So just realize that. So anyway, title of this, Billy, of this video is bullshit. I mean, I am calling Agelina County out on bullshit. Now, when I say this, I don't say this lightly, like I'm just coming across stuff that I just hear stuff on the grapevine or whatever. Guys, look, I spent four years in the Marine Corps. I spent 5.5 years in the Army. I was Marine Corps Security Force, Marine Corps Security Force, and Army Security Force, which means I had to deal greatly with intelligence, and either had to go gather the intelligence, help analyze intelligence, or whatever. But anyway, let's put it this way: because of that experience, that and 2 branches of service, I'm pretty good at it. I don't know, I'm a sergeant in 4 years in the Marine Corps, so I kind of knew what I was doing. But not to toot my own horn, but the fact is that using those same techniques or whatever, you can see the bullshit they're using out of Agelina County. And the thing about it is it's catching up to them, and they don't have no answers. Oh, and I got me a new notebook. I don't know if you guys know. Anyway, I'm going to be filling this up tonight with facts and figures. But let's get to where we're at right now. Montgomery County, I actually came out with a video, and then there is, okay, there was a death in a county jail. Okay. This happened, and I'll give you my analysis on this. The death in the county jail. And these individuals were doing a shakedown. That means they go to everybody's rack or whatever, or they open up your gate and they say, coming in or whatever. First of all, they have to remove you out of the gate or out of your cell, and then secure you, and then they go through and tear your freaking room up, basically. If you had a medical mattress or anything like that, would go in, it's gone because somebody's going to steal it. But, hey, you're in jail. What do you expect? But now the interesting fact is that if we go back and we keep looking at these instances of deaths in a county jail, we're all too reminded of the death in Agelina County Jail, to where Mr. Smallwood, there was no information leaked on that. Matter of fact, even today, our sheriff will not allow the video. It will tell the whole story, hook, line, and sinker. It'll tell you everything, show you everything. And you, as the public, can make a determination whether we need to improve inside the jail, what areas we need to improve upon. In other words, the sheriff's department working with the community to make it a better place for us all to live. So we actually know that if somebody does get arrested, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a Marine, okay? I'll tell you a quick story. Chesty Puller was one of the greatest Marines ever. Chesty Puller was, he served in World War II and also in Korea. Chesty Puller was the poster child of the Marine Corps. They set up in California and San Diego. They set up all pomp and circumstance. He was coming to visit San Diego. He was coming to visit the Marine Corps base. He was coming, so they set up they had all the bands, all the marching bands, showing off for the troops, whole 9 yards, whatever. Threw out the red carpet for him or whatever. After all of this, he was leaving the bleachers. After all of this pomp and circumstance, he looked over at the captain and his crew, and he said, "Take me to the brig." I want to see some real Marines. Now, if you don't like that statement or whatever, that Marines are uncouth or whatever, well, take a look at us. Take a look at us when we're dressed. Take a look at us, how we carry ourselves, how we walk, how we talk. And guess what? You'll ultimately come away with the fact is, you know what? These individuals, they incapable of bullshit. They root out bullshit. They find bullshit. So this explains to me. They explain to you, hell, I've been in trouble with law shit. I've been in trouble with law in the Marine Corps and when I was in the Army. It manifested itself because the fact is that I didn't know at the time, didn't understand about it, PTSD. Even went to the other combat PTSD or chronic PTSD is what they used to call it then. I'm not sure what they call it now. Anyway, serious case PTSD. It ain't never going to go away. It's always going to be with my life. And guess what? I have it adjust my life, adjust my medication, and I guess I feel better. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't have any aspects of the drug that I can tell physically or anything like that. However, the fact is, I know that I'm better when I'm off of them. So if you are a veteran and you are prescribed medication, go do what your doctor tells you to do. Now, I understand totally the stigma that comes with somebody admitting that they have PTSD. I understand how difficult it is, especially a person in the service, to admit and to be diagnosed with this, and for their buddies and their buddies to find out, or the chain of command find out, or whatever, because it's a simple sign that it's you're weak, or in military terms, we call it broke. This is a big stigma, and it's taken a long time for us to come to grips with it, and for us also for our chain command and whatever to learn how the symptoms, to learn the signs, and whatever. This will help individuals transition to where they go into the civilian life. Case in point, me for example, I was going to the doctors at Fort Lewis in Washington, and I had been diagnosed with PTSD. I was like, damn. Now, I was getting ready to go on another deployment. I had put in for another deployment. You have to waive your right, because after you get back from deployment, you have to stay home for a year before you can be deployed again, unless you sign a waiver, say I'm ready to go right now, everything's good to hook, whatever. So they gave me 2 months, said, okay, get back in shape, whatever the hell. Man, you know what, everybody's supposed to be in shape, whatever, but I'm sorry, different kind of shape. Okay. So during that particular period of time, I started taking my medication. I couldn't tell you if it was working, if not, or whatever. I didn't notice anything in my mind or whatever. But obviously, it took away some of the symptoms, or modified some of the symptoms, to where it's like I could deal with them on this type of level. Now, people ask me, what kind of level are you talking about? People understand that in the service or whatever, there is a certain way that you behave. There's a certain way that you talk. There's a certain way that you walk. There's a certain language that we have that is considered vulgar, considered whatever you want to call it, but that's just the way we communicate. If you don't like it, write your congressman. But this is the way grown men speak to each other who are in uniform. Different scenarios, different branches have different things or whatever. But anyway, whatever you hear, you never hear "Good morning, sir." Or "Good morning, sergeant." Yeah, fuck you, sergeant. Carry on. Get the hell out of here. Because we do this shit every day for a living. And that bothers people because I use it. Anyways, I don't care. 9 years service. I think I've earned the right to speak any way I want to, and I had the First Amendment to actually guarantee me that right. What's vulgar and hate speech? What are you, the language police? I don't know. I could go into a whole gamut of words that we use in whatever their meetings, what they were meetings were, or whatever, how we construed them to be something dirty. Okay, but whatever. However, the fact is, let's get back to the point. The point being is this. Agelina County is running out of places to hide. We know this because of that example that was said of this death in a jail, and I believe it was Montgomery County. I want to say Montgomery or Smith County. Smith County. Yeah. This individual died from excessive force that was used on him whenever he was being taken out of his cell. Now, what do we mean excessive force? We're not talking about them just dragging him out of cell because he didn't want to come out. We didn't want to. No. The individual who is a veteran, and it is part of the UCMJ. All military respect this or whatever. If you are a combat veteran, it is perfectly legal. Within the first 5 minutes of you waking this individual up, you may experience you're waking this son of a gun up, and in his mind, the first thing he thinks about is where am I? What's around me? I see it. Any military personnel will tell you the same thing. What's going on? What's around me? Now, if you wake up to a bunch of individuals standing at your cell, knowing they're going to come in there and take you out, this guy, typical service member attitude. Said, all right, I'm getting up. He got up, put on shit, whatever. He wasn't doing it fast enough that these guards, they expected him to help too or whatever. Guy's been a service while he's been around the block a few times. He's like, you know what? Cut the bullshit. I'm coming out, man. I'm coming out. Well, they pushed the issue, and this man had only been up for a few minutes. Fact is, they come bum rushing him in the cell, and I can't emphasize this enough. If you wake a veteran up who's been in combat, he's coming out swinging during the first 5 minutes. Let me tell you how we were trained to actually wake individuals for whatever we had to when we were downrange and also back in the rear. We would not go anywhere near their head. When we were waking them up, we'd go down to the boot, tap them on the boot, say, hey, sorry, it's your watch. That right there, okay, meant a lot because I knew I was being waken up by the boot. I knew that the voice was in my memory. I could understand who it was or whatever, and that was okay. That's enough. I'm up. Put all the nightmares aside. Put all that shit aside, and guess what? Let's carry on. Drive on. So basically, this individual didn't move fast enough, and he didn't have a sense of urgency, I guess. I don't believe that you are required to have a certain military bearing when you're in jail, for God's sakes. Anyway, scuffle prevailed. They ended up putting an illegal mover onto the individual's back, which actually killed him in this brouhaha that they had. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm from the old school. I don't like the back and forth arguing or whatever. I'm the kind of guy that's just like, you know what? Okay, let's take that redneck shit outside. We'll settle it, and then let's get on about our business. Fighting was just a way of expressing yourself. Fighting was a way to stand up for yourself. Fighting was a way to where you earned a reputation that you had the ability, but not used it overly, but you had the ability to protect yourself. That was it. That was respect that everybody gave each other. They have a right to defend themselves. If I get stupid or whatever around them, then I'm going to actually have to deal with this individual and all of his knowledge and all of his physical capability. Exactly what happened here. They took strength in their numbers because they knew that when they went in there that they were going to find the individual or they were going to pull that individual out. Probably because he didn't have the sense of urgency. He's been there, done that, got a t-shirt. He's taking orders. Shit's old. You will see this in combat veterans when they get back from combat and they come back to the rear, all this pomp and circumstance and everything, and they're like, shit, this ain't the Army I know. This ain't the Marine Corps I know. But be as it may, they tossed his cell, had a shank. I think he had tattooing material. I'm not for sure or whatever. But anyway, had a shank. For the shakedown, guess what? Shakedown, you find this shit, guess what? You're going in the hole for 30 days. You know that shit. What the fuck were you thinking? Let's go. 30 days. You don't beat the crap out of somebody. You don't drag them out of their cell. If you approach the individual and he does not want to come out of his cell, good. Then you log in the cell, you go get the crash team, and you come back at him and say, look, this is your last chance, brother. Normally what will happen is that, you don't know how many of the guards it'll take to whoop your ass, but you know how many they're going to use 9 out of 10 times just with the proper warning. You're like, okay, you know what? And plus, I know I'm going to do 30 days in the hole because I got this or whatever. For those of you that think that jail is just a shiny, uh, freaking place to be and everybody follows the rules, whatever, I am sorry and you're mistaken. As we have seen in Angelina County Jail, for example, we have had tobacco smoking there. We got serial quill epidemic going on in Agelina County, and we got guards that are helping them. We got guards that are helping them because the fact is that they get monetary gain by helping prisoners and or by the outside individuals who are actually paid to take care of them and for the guards to look after them. It happens. It's not on the movies. It happens right here in your county. But that doesn't suffice for everybody else because we as a group of people, we had decided, you know what, whatever happens in the jail, we're going to lock them up. Throw away the key. No matter if they're guilty, innocent, we don't care. We're going to get them off the streets because they're a potential threat to us, or they're a potential color, or they have a different culture, or whatever. We don't know how to deal with it, so they're going to be forced into living our life of what we live it around here. So what do they do? They throw you in jail like the key because the fact is you ain't gonna get an attorney for 6 months, and it'll be a court-appointed attorney who doesn't really care. He won't even come to see you in the first 7-8 months. Only time he'll come see you is when there's a plea deal on the table. It's up to the district attorney, as we always have already found out that our district attorney had to resign because of this practice. But our jail system continues to be the same way it has been, operating the same way. Let's put it this way: the good old boy network. We still need to take a weed eater to it now. First of all, we need a brush hog. We finally pushed the brush hog. Now we got a lawnmower, or weed around trees. But now we got to get a weed eater out of it because the fact is we missed a few spots or whatever. So, like I said, there's my notebook. Um, Seniors, gunnery sergeant told me one time. He pulled me in. Of course, he always got a cheat against the heels out. We ain't doing something right, whatever. Put us on our toes or whatever. But anyway, he came to me and my squad, or he came to me and he told me, he said, you know what? He said, we talked to you for a second. Yeah, yes, sir, Gunny. I went over, I said, Gunny. And he said, look, you guys, you and your boys have been through a lot of shit. He said, you and your boys have had the opportunity to come back. We adjust for a little bit. However, the fact is, you know what? Sergeant breaks over. I knew exactly what it meant. I said, all right, Gunny. Turned around and walked away. Started lighting the fire up my people's ass because we were not performing up to military standards. We were performing, but we knew the system. We knew how to work the system. And the gunny was just telling me that people were noticing the fact is that we should have been the elite. We should be the elite, and we were. We didn't take us but a couple weeks to get back on track, but we were the elite. We had to realize, and what the gunny was telling me at that time was that these people look to you. They look to you and your guys because y'all been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they know what to expect. They do not understand the change that you went through over there, and they don't understand what you've been through and what actually it's like to come back. So basically, get up off your ass, breaks over, let's train. And it was just fitting what we wanted to do because the fact is that we were like, okay, saddle up, let's go dance. You ain't gonna like it, but you got to show up. So I'm saying with this, it breaks over with because the fact is, you know what, I cannot accept one thing because now we have videos of many Texas agencies, law enforcement agencies all across the United States that have learned one very, very valuable lesson: that if you try to hide the truth in today's world, then you're going to be found out, and then it's going to be twice as bad when the shit rolls downhill. It comes down to you. Because I want to be honest with you, whatever position you hold in the county, and I believe everybody knows it's the backstabbing county, whatever, because they're going to people talk about behind back. We got a bunch of older individuals that, you know what, they've earned the right to bitch. I'm being one of them. But Don't think that guy that you're sharing information with or who's been giving you orders, oh, I got to cover this up. We're going to tell him this. We're not going to tell him this. We're going to tell him. Don't think for a second when his ass is in the grass, and guess what? He ain't going to roll over on you. And this is what's starting to happen. County employees are realizing that they can be held accountable for the misuse and also misappropriation of funds and or any corruption that is actually done inside their department or if they know about it. Any questioning of an individual in Agelina County will result in this. The interviewer would just say, just tell you, we've got evidence of this. Did you or did you not participate? Yes, no, not a maybe. Did you know of this information? You didn't say anything about it? Yes, no, not a maybe. How come? Best answers you can give because I fear repercussions from my higher ups. That's your best. That is your story. Stick to it because the fact is that's the truth. Agelina County employees have a great job as far as this area. They have steady employment. They have benefits. They have a 401k. They are offered many things that us working men don't get through their job. So to cause waves in the county, you being the one that caused waves in the county, your life expectancy is not in favor. You will do as you're told, even if it's against the law or not. Or even if you think it's shady, you don't say nothing. You get promotions on how well you cooperate with this type of a system. Bottom line. And many individuals at this current time, they can't afford to lose their job. So we have a government that's forcing individuals to do something that they know that is illegal or it's not transparent. And they'll follow the lead back. They'll find out. Just what your ass is on the grass. You reported on Friday, and guess what? By Monday, you're cleaning out your desk. We know this beratement goes on because the fact is, in a recent county commissioners meeting, a county judge went off on a commissioner. Went off on him, asking him, "Are you the leak? Are you the leak? How can you leak public information? Please tell me that like I'm a 3-year-old." So in other words, you've just identified there's certain information we share with the public, and then there's certain areas that we don't. Now, I'm not talking about airing all your dirty laundry, but when it comes to the decision-making process and it comes to the public that affects the public, yes, this is what Freedom of Information Act stands for. Now, I didn't know, and I thought, like many of us, that, you know what, these guys follow the system. These guys, they're on the up and up or whatever. Until I started requesting, this has been years ago, started Freedom of Information requests. I started noticing a trend. And that trend is everything had to go through the county attorney, and the county attorney referred it to the attorney general because he could not make the decision because he may fall out of favor with the commissioner's plan or whatever. He couldn't make an educated decision or apply the law. He had to find and was instructed to find a way around the law, fix it, so we don't look bad. Perception is everything in Agelina County. So let's get back to this. And this is what I've been working on today. I'll currently clue you in. I have actually put in a request to meet with Trent Ashby on next week sometimes. Now, if you've ever tried to deal with Trent Ashby, we've had this problem in the past that you go by his office or whatever, and the doors are shut, locked up, you call, there's nobody there. So he's not really because of this, he's not really making himself available to his constituents. And plus, when you call in, you can't get a live voice. You get voicemail because they're helping somebody else. I don't know how many people actually go down to Trent Ashby's office. I've never seen a line out there for people waiting to get in. Could some say he's screening who he interviews? I don't know about that. What I do know is that Trent Ashby, with his voting record and everything that's happened in our Texas legislature in the last couple of years, his name has come up as speaker for felon. PHELAN. He is a speaker. He came out and said he was drunk off his skunk. He was drunk as a skunk. But that just started the ball rolling or whatever. So anyway, his name was come up a couple times in actually being speaker. Well, that right there showed his true colors because that's when he put his nose down and he stopped standing up. He just gazed which way the wind was blowing, and that's the way he went. Look at his voting record. Look at his voting record, and you can see the change. And you don't hear about any legislation being introduced by him. You don't hear of any statement, or you don't hear of anything where he's for. He waits for other people to come out. Oh yeah, I agree with him, whatever. So that's where it all starts right there, because our representatives are allowing this to go on. There's no oversight. They do not want to get involved in the county politics because, number one, it'll drag their ass down. They don't want to get caught up in Agelina's bullshit. You don't want to get caught up in Agelina County's bullshit. Why? Well, because the fact is the individuals who actually are on the commissioners are actually working in for the county. He has got them by the balls, because the fact is that, guess what? If you want to stay employed at the county, guess what? You got to cooperate, and you've got to do it their way. This goes back to the leadership that we have from Trent Ashby. That's the way he runs his office. It's bullshit, but that's the way he chooses to run his office. And dealing with a politician to that level, you have to understand every political avenue that he has available to him. He runs for the polls. He doesn't run for the people. He doesn't really appear out in public. But what he does is he has a staff member or staff to sit there, run the numbers, run the polls, who's voting this way, who's feeling this way, or whatever. That's the way he goes. How many people are in favor for this? Okay. How about the people who had objections? Are you standing up for them? Or are you just looking at the situation and says, you know what? Well, you know what? They're right. It doesn't happen. Now, I'll get a lot of shit about Trent Ashby or whatever because everybody loves him. However, the fact is that I'm a firm believer that shit rolls up here. And if this kind of shenanigans were going on in any county of any politician, they would be on the phone. They don't have to come out in public and say it. They don't have to come out over the lines and say it at the press conference. No, they don't have to. All you have to do is pick up a phone. And by him choosing not to pick up the phone, he has sided with the county. He has sided with county, and he has decided that he's decided over his constituents. Now, main issue at this point is this. We have had a death in our jail, Mr. Smallwood. He passed away. Questionable time frame from what Sheriff Selman stated, what the autopsy said, and what the individual statement said by these individuals. The times just don't add up. The statements given by these individuals who were involved in the altercation, they all match the same story. And here's the reason why that happened. Was because the time of the death was at 11:36. He was not booked in until 12:28. That gave them all this time to get their story right. And I guarantee you this, whatever. Guarantee you. So in other words, instead of interviewing the individuals who were actually on duty, Lieutenant Rodriguez, all these individuals were on duty that night. We never heard anything. Matter of fact, on the Texas Ranger report, none of these individuals were interviewed. It says it's not needed. So there we go. So now we've got one person who wasn't even there, who's head of the department, explaining to us and telling us what happened. Okay, that's fine. But the documentation that's sent forth, that's public record, and also all the way up to the DOJ, is wrong. It's fake. It's fraudulent. Whatever you want to call it, it's not what happened. Because the time frames just didn't add up. I don't think Mr. Ashby is aware of that. I don't think he really knows how far it goes. However, the fact is, in my meeting with him, this is going to be one of the topics of invocation. I didn't ask him for drawing out invitation. I didn't ask him. Matter of fact, I asked him for 5 minutes of his time. Well, that's 2 more times than you get at the commissioner's meeting. But hey, what I'll get is probably not. I'll probably get his handshake and a pen, and I'll go out the door. This is the state of our government. And this is the state of what we have to deal with on a daily basis. We have seen all law enforcement agencies now in the state of Texas are aware that there are body cameras on their officers that must be used. During any incident, that they must be turned on and used. If it's still dysfunctional, if it doesn't work or whatever, why is that? You're telling me that an officer of the law went out without required equipment by law and it wasn't working. Let's rephrase that for a minute. Let's go back and what if a police officer who's authorized to carry a weapon, hell yeah, what if he carries his weapon and he got no ammo? He forgot his ammo. How does that correlate to public safety? You got an officer running around and can't defend you or the public. This is how simple it gets. It gets real simple, real freaking most Ricky tick, because the fact is that their idea of transparency is not the definition you'll find in Wikipedia. It is not the definition that you will find by the law as we have it today, based on our Constitution and based on our Texas Constitution. This is not transparency, and the Freedom of Information Act breaks it down like a shotgun. But as we know, they're politicians. They try to find a way around the law, and I'm not blaming them for that. I'm not. But the fact is that we are the oversight. We're supposed to catch them. We're supposed to question. We're supposed to ask. However, if you do that, you get in trouble. You get in trouble for it. You get on the bad side of people. Automatically, people don't want to talk to you. Because in all actuality, you're looking out for these people because you're the one who's actually standing up and saying, hey, we got a problem here, guys. Now, in most communities, what happens is that people actually take in information or whatever, and they ask, hey, what's going on? What? This don't make no sense. A lot of people will question their government. They will question the government, and if they're addressed properly by the government, they will petition. They will file complaints. They will file ethics complaints. They will do these things, and all of this, just like our lawsuits that are piling up in the Fifth Circuit on Agelina County, are being backed up because the fact is that we have realized as a county we can get nowhere with this type of government. The way that the government has been run for the last 50 years is the same. They protect people that came before them, keep down the line. That's just like the roads. Every 4 years, every 2 years. Oh, we're going to do some other road. We're going to get these roads. We're going to get these roads. Quote Frank Harris, who was a mayor in Huntington. Oh, I'm glad. Hey, let's go get on them roads. Damn road been fixed in Agelina County. I can't tell you when. It may be patched, yeah. But hey, splitting hairs. Zavala, who's part of Agelina County, they just had how many people resign? I'm still getting trying to bottom of that because the fact is I don't really understand. But I'll guarantee you this. What I do know at this point, one common denominator that we have here is an officer Denby, who was with our sheriff's department, who was other law enforcement. Definition of that is a gypsy officer. If you don't know what that means, say, for example, you go to work at one city, and you're a police officer there, and you take a promotion to get to be the sheriff's department or whatever. That's fine. But when you bump around between agencies to 4 or 5 different places, that's a red flag right there. So now he's chief of police in Zavala. Funny how funny how these incidents continue to follow him. He was actually underneath Sheriff Sanchez. I think you know who he is without me even giving you a picture. But hell, during the time Sanchez didn't go anywhere right, didn't he? Denby was so far up his ass shit. I don't know how far it goes, but hell, he was all the way up in there. But it got called out because he was starting shit in the sheriff's office, and Sanchez had to let it go on the QT. So this is what I know about Zavala. However, the fact is that it doesn't really matter because in the entire Angelina County, we're putting up with bullshit, and we're putting up with it because the fact is that we assume, and this is just what I see. I see a group of individuals, the public, who these decisions are affecting their everyday lives, and they're being told to sit down, shut up, we'll give you 3 minutes. But until then, you stay quiet, keep your complaints to yourself, so we run our business. Okay, but see, your business is my business. Without you, you don't be there. Now, case in point, why do you think these individuals get appointed or run? Because they get the backing of big oil, big lumber, big retail chains. And then you go with all the contractors that go with them. You're talking about a lot of jobs. So if you are an employee, all these individuals, and you're relying on the county, hey, let's vote for this guy. He's going to do this for us. He's going to do that. So in other words, your whole company is going to vote for him because they're afraid to lose their damn job. That's the way it works in Agelina County, and that's the way it works in East Texas. Get up, wake up. It's the good old boy system, and the good old boy system has done nothing in East Texas but fail. We see now how many people are being called out that are actually in important positions of what shit that they've been pulling. We are not above the law. We are doing the same thing, and we're getting caught, and they don't have any answers. I'm not saying that all politicians are not going to lie to you. I'm not saying all politicians are not going to play politics and work situations to their advantage. I can care less about that. That's politics. You expect that when you put a person in office because the fact is they do their willing and dealing or whatever. As long as the public's good comes out and everybody benefits, okay. You don't ask who's leading you. But the thing about it is that is precisely the amount of percentage of voters that show up for voting. A general election, you're going to get maybe, okay, on general election, you'll have 35, maybe 40% of the public actually vote. We don't know about the other individuals who just don't even register, so they're out there as a pool. And we never have, or will we ever see in Angelina County, just a movement to say, get out and vote. I don't give a shit who you vote for. I don't. But participate in the system. And I want to say this, and it's going to piss a lot of people off, but let me say this to you real quick. Decisions are made by those who show up. So if these decisions are not benefiting you, and you didn't choose to vote, or you didn't choose to register, shut the hell up. You can end an argument in 1 second about politics in Angelina County. It doesn't matter, any backyard barbecue or any front porch, back porch, or whatever, where you sit and whatever people gather, you know what, they're going to talk about politics and they're going to talk about shit or whatever. I end this conversation very quick. It's very simple to do. They go on about this, what do you think? I said, well, okay, I heard your point, but did you vote? No. Well, did you register to vote? No. When's the last time you voted? I don't remember. Shut up. You're representing the whole 60% of the people that are actually these laws are going to affect. They don't even care enough to vote. But they're the first one to bitch and complain about that their damn road's not fixed. If it ain't fixed, guess what? What can you do about it? Well, I can't do anything about that. They don't listen to me. Well, then guess what? Show them. Show them and shoot up and vote. You can't tell you who you voting for. Nobody in his right mind in these Texas will come up and ask you who you're voting for. They will listen to your conversation and determine who you're voting for. But I can guarantee you right now, in conversation, when you go into Boats, you go into Broker Brothers, you go into all these places around here, even in Lufkin, you go anywhere, you can give yourself 2 to 3 minutes to listen to a conversation. You can tell it's these individuals are voting for right there. That's it. The answer you'll get is why? Well, he's a good guy. I knew his dad. I knew his family. I knew his grandmother and his grandma. Okay. But who is he? I don't care about all that. I want to know who this individual is. Is he good for the county? That's when it gets real quick, because people then get pissed off. The fact is, who are you to tell me? I'm not here to tell you a damn thing. What I am telling you is the problems that you actually have. Who can you blame them on? Can you blame them on the county 100%? No. Because the fact is that you chose not to participate. So you catch what you get what you get. Because you didn't stand up, even just go to the polls and say, you know what, I disagree with this individual. I want this individual in there. Here's why that makes a difference. Because if you're Trent Ashby sitting up in your office, refusing to go out and meet with the public, all these things, makes 2 or 3 stops every election period. But see, he pays attention to the polls. That's how he's going to vote. Where's this polling data come from? Well, it comes from regions around who are actually voting Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever you want to vote, constitutions, whatever you want to vote. But they're actually looking at the polls, a percentage where it goes up and down. So in other words, let's say, for example, he wants to support a bill for infrastructure, and he does or does not do so. Well, if he does do so, then it'll show up in the polls. If he doesn't do so, it'll show up in the polls. That's what actually drives his decisions. And we know that. We know that for a fact that Trent Ashby has a problem committing to a certain cause. He is there just to jump on the bandwagon. And his name has come up as far as speaker. I would tell him. That quote didn't come from me. That came from inside Congress. Or the fact is, man, he's just, when asked, many congressmen, when you ask, well, what about Ashby for the speaker? Every one of them was like, he's a flop, it's not going to fly. Because his reputation is set. Makes a lot of friends. Popular guy. But popular everywhere. Nice guy. I don't know him. Don't like him. Never meet him. Hope to meet him, but hell, we'll see about that. But it's the reason why I'm taking it to the next level. Because the fact is that I guess it's that not I'm a troublemaker. But the fact is, I was taught by my family that your job as an individual on this earth is to make your life better for those who come behind you. To make their life better, and they actually have more benefits and more opportunities than you had when you're growing up. Can you say that about Agelina County? No. Let me ask you a question. There's a song that says, whenever we leave here, we ain't coming back. Well, yeah, I know the world's flat, because when people live here, they don't come back. There's a reason for that. So, I'm going to have a follow-up video, because I took too dang much time, and I like to talk. Imagine that. Anyway, today we have notified Trent Ashby that we need to have to sit down and talk with him. Have a sit down, as the mafia would say. Or 2, we've notified the DOJ. We've actually notified the DOJ because there has been a wave of individuals who are asking the DOJ to do their job and intervene in the deaths in Angelina County, and not in Angelina, in Texas jails, specifically Texas jails. A lot of those have to do with the heat related incidents, but they are looking at every case. Do they get in a hurry? Hell no. Do they care? Hell no. Because the majority of people, somebody goes to jail, they deserve to die. This is what we believe in Agelina County. This is what is portrayed by the elite. Everybody lives in the neighborhood. Everybody, well, they're just bad influence. Put them in jail. I'm gonna lock the key and keep them in there. And then when they work themselves out, even if they're found not guilty, we won't give them a job. We don't want them here in this area. We want them to move out. I think the good Lord even talks about this in his Bible. I have read my Bible cover to cover. And I'm not good at quoting scripture. I'm not good at doing anything else. But the fact is, here's what I do. I believe in the Lord and his son, Jesus Christ. I have prayed to him in many positions where you couldn't even possibly imagine. But I know this. The good Lord has every person has redeemable qualities. You commit sin, you confess to it, and the Lord will allow you to move on. They might punish you or something like this. You take it with a grace of, yes, sir, Lord, you were right. But every person gets a second chance. Every person gets to be judged, not by a county, not by a state representative, not by their government. There's only one person you're going to go through in Judgment Day. One person. And he ain't here. But he's not here physically, but he is here and he's watching. So those of you who decide to fight the good fight, guess what? Somebody's watching. For those of you who call out corruption, for those of you who are willing and brave enough to stand up and say this is wrong, Lord's watching. And for those of you who decide not to keep all these secrets, keep all this stuff hidden away, and not come forward, then the Lord's watching. Keith Bryant had a great in our the commission meeting before. Those who build glass houses shouldn't throw the first stone. Okay. Well, I go with this. David killed Goliath. One person with a slingshot. One person with a slingshot. A young man with a slingshot killed Goliath. The lesson of that is this. For standing up for the right thing, God will reward you. And he will also bless you for doing so, because not only have you improved yourself and you have made it possible for things to be better for those who come behind you. Anybody that questions meaning of life, that's it. So I'm sorry I took too long. Probably won't get any views out of this, but I'm sharing it anyway. I keep sharing my videos. Appreciate the non-support. Appreciate you guys not want to know the truth, but I really could give a shit, because the fact is this goes in the video. This goes into an archive, and this actually goes to where whenever these individuals come up with plausible deniability, I didn't know. Well, there's a video that says about it. Well, we said, no, you didn't. You said this. This is the sole reason why this channel exists. It's to make life better for those that come behind me. That's it. Just like my commitment to the Corps and to the Army. I fight the battles for you. I'll stand up for you. I'll take my hits. I'll take my chances. Because that way you can live the current style of life, and maybe if you help me out, you can make it better. And we're going to need each other in the next few months, because the fact is that inflation ain't starting to hit us in the grocery and in the grocery store. And I believe that many of us will have the same opinion. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry I took so long. Hopefully you generate these points. Hopefully they'll resonate with you, and hopefully you can form your own opinion. If you think I'm full of shit, tell me. Everyone has a right to their opinion. Everyone gets ready to state what their opinion is, and great. to participate in raucous debate is God-given right. It is given example of in signing of our Constitution. It took them days. I think 4 days, but I think 4 days is what the history book said. 4 days to come to agreement there. I'm going to sign. Do you know why? Because some silly son of a gun just actually, you know what? He locked them in there and said, "You ain't coming out till we get a Constitution. We're not coming out till we get a Declaration of Independence." So there you go. You can participate in the world around you, and maybe you'll make it better for yourself. But for the people who come behind you, those are the ones you're going to look up to and say this. Well, where were you, Daddy? It's the worst feeling that you can have in your life is whenever one of your kids comes up to you and say, "Well, where were you, Daddy?" 9 times out of 10, you'll get the response, "Well, it don't make no difference. It don't matter if I vote. It don't." So you're teaching your kids that it doesn't matter. Politics doesn't matter. That government doesn't matter. That you, being an individual with rights and freedoms that are given to you, you don't necessarily get to really participate in that. It's just a farce. And maybe that is true. But I refuse to leave. And I refuse not. I would rather my children come to me in my dying day and tell me, "You fought a hell of a fight, man. I didn't agree, but you fought a hell of a fight." So I know I said sorry. I said bye a long time ago. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Share if you like it. If you don't like it, let me know. If you do like it, then put a thumbs up there. I promise I won't tell anybody to ruin your fair reputation. I'm not just talking about Agelina County. I'm talking about the haves, have-nots, the ones who think they're better than all of us. Guess what? If you don't know, guess what? Hang on to the gossip column, hang on to the gossip lines, because you'll figure out your name's in it. That's an old that's an old political party right there. I think we should make it up and just call them a gossip party. Got Republicans, you got Democrats, and you got that party. I don't know what you're going to call it. What are you going to call it? Gossip party. Let's call it the gossip party. Those are willing to talk shit, but ain't willing to do nothing about it. Yeah. There's a lot of words in the dictionary for that. Pick out the best one that fits you. Yeah, you hate me? Good. I ain't here to be liked. I'm here to make a difference. I'm out.